What's going on, guys? Wanted to hop on today and talk about the short that I took this morning on NQ. Wanted to walk you through everything that from my pre-market plan, my entry confirmation, and my trade management. Also, a couple of tips that have been helping me this year with some consistency things that I was having a little bit of trouble with to start the year. So, uh, let's get into it. I want to start by reading you my morning plan to let you know what I was thinking of. I write a morning plan every single morning, and I try and follow that plan to a T. And if the plan doesn't play out, then I don't take a trade. Um, so I started with yesterday. Price continued to respect the bearish PD array as NQ breached above the London session high and was not able to sustain value above it to change the state in the delivery to the upside. NQ continued to sell off throughout the day and closed with a bearish candle. Overnight, NQ has pulled back into yesterday's range without taking the low of day first. Currently, price is still respecting the 1 hour fair value gap that was created yesterday. If NQ cannot sustain value above the London session high, I am expecting a sell model to target the London and Asia session lows and then possibly yesterday's low of day. There's no high impact news today, so I will depend on the macros for volatility influx. So we can see on the daily chart that price closed bearish yesterday and then was not able to sweep. And in today's session, in the overnight and this morning, price was not able to sweep this low before moving back. So since we had this bearish closure yesterday, I was expecting either a consolidation inside of yesterday's range or a move down to yesterday's low of day. So if we move to the 1 hour, we can see that we had the 1 hour fair value gap that was created during yesterday's sell-off. And one thing that I want to note, let's move this back. One thing that I want to note is the past few sessions we have been seeing the same tendencies where price will pop up into buy side liquidity into a higher time frame PD array and then sell off for the day. Pop up into a higher time frame PD array and then sell off for the day. And it looked like the same exact thing was going to be happening this morning. So I wanted to map out my areas of liquidity where price could pop into, and then an area where I can expect price to reject. So on a higher time frame for me, that would be the 1 hour fair value gap or an order block. So we have our London session high that we can map out to see if watch price pop into it. We have our Asia session high that London session has already taken, and then we have our Asia session low. Okay, and then let's also mark out our London session low, which is right here at 2 a.m. Okay, so I want to see, coming into today, I wanted to see a pop into buy side liquidity for a move lower towards Asia's session low and then possibly yesterday's low of day. So despite the London session low already being taken, I'm okay with this because I know that for price to go lower, we need to go higher. So for us to go higher towards buy side liquidity and take this area of liquidity, we need fuel to go up there first. So I'm okay with this London session low being taken first. So now that we had the London session low being taken, I want to see a pop into buy side liquidity and then pretty much an internal model where we run through these fair value gaps and then change the state and delivery to the downside. So currently, if we were to change the state and delivery to the downside, these cluster of up close candles would be the bullish momentum. I want to see that flip and start to give a bearish sentiment. So we have our pop into buy side liquidity. That's our first check mark. Now I want to see a change in the state of delivery. Okay, we have our change in the state of delivery to the downside now, where we close below these up close candles. So now my thought process is, okay, I can take this at the test of this change in the state of delivery to the downside. But my thought process at this point was the protected high is 55 points away, and that's just way too much for me, because if I'm targeting the Asia session lows, that's a pretty much like 1 to 1.5 risk to reward, and that's just um, not worth, like, the juice isn't worth the squeeze to me. Um, so what I wanted to do is that I could possibly do is drill down into a 1 minute and look for an internal model within this model. So when I drill down to the 1 minute, I'm looking for the same exact thing that I'm looking for on the 5 minute. I'm looking for a pop in the buy side liquidity, and then a displacement below the change in the state of delivery, the last cluster of up close candles. So we can see that we have right here, we get the test of the 5 minute change in state of delivery. Now I'm waiting for an internal model. I'm waiting, still nothing yet. Okay, so now we have our change in state of delivery to the downside internally on the 1 minute. All right, I enter at the test of this 1 minute with a stop above these highs. So now, instead of risking 50 points, I'm now risking 13 and a quarter points to make 73. And this risk to reward to me just looks way better. And this is something that I'm going to take every single time. So we got the test of we got the internal model, the test of the 5 minute change in state of delivery. We got the sweep of the buy side liquidity internally, then the change in state of delivery internally. And now I'm hands off at this point because I'm just letting the trade play out. All right, so this is still before market open, 9:11 a.m. Okay, we're waiting. Okay, so now that we have moved past this area of liquidity, the sell side liquidity right here, I adjust my stop to break even. Now this is a risk off trade. The reason why I adjusted my stop to break even right there is because I wanted to protect myself against price coming back into this range, and I was just being a bit premature on the analysis. Plus, there was also a possibility of an inside day after yesterday's large candle range. So I'm just protecting myself from a lack of volatility today, pretty much, with yesterday's large sell-off and no red folder high impact news today. So now that we're in, stop is set to break even, and it's pretty much just waiting for that area of sell side liquidity to be met. And eventually we meet that area of sell side liquidity, and this was a beautiful, beautiful trade. These confirmations are something that I look for every single day. I pretty much hammer home the same setup. I pretty much try and repeat the same process every single day. And that's just something else that I wanted to touch on with this review. You do everything right, and then you feel like when you're in the trade or right before the trade happens that you start to second guess yourself, and you start to, before you were in the trade, it starts like, oh yeah, like this trade is starting to set up really, really nice. Just, my confirmations are playing out, and then it's like right before you get in, and while you're in the trade, your brain for some reason switches to some sort of like protective mode to like protect against a loss or protect against you losing money. And that's something that I'm personally working on to further my trading career. Is one thing that I know about myself is I'm pretty confident in my morning analysis. And I caught myself early this year to begin this year not following my plans, and it was absolutely hurting me, like loss after loss, paper cut after paper cut. So I sat back and I was like, I'm gonna read all my morning analysis and see how right I was. And majority of the time I was right. So I pretty much say all that to say that you need to trust yourself. Trust yourself. You're showing up every single day. You're doing what you need to do. You're having the right risk management. You have your proper trade confirmations. Just let the trade play out. Like, stop over managing. Don't, look at it tick for tick and bar for bar, because everything else from entry to price target is noise. You've already done all the work waiting. You've done all the work seeing the confirmation. You've done all the work entering the trade. Now, once you're in the trade, the most you should do is set your stop to break even to protect yourself at a valid point. Don't set your stop loss to break even too soon because you want to protect yourself against losing money. Um, Set it in a proper place. Uh, you know, Continue to show up every single day and be the best like version of yourself on and off the charts. So when you get on the charts, everything becomes second nature. You don't second guess yourself. You move with confidence. You make decisive decisions, and you just know what you're looking for. Trusting yourself is probably one of the biggest things that you can work on. In trading and just having confidence, because you got to move with confidence. You have to make those decisive decisions. So my advice is to just show up every single day, continue to trust yourself and keep moving forward. But overall, this was a phenomenal trade. Just wanted to come on and do a trade review and rant a little bit about like why you should just trust yourself and move with confidence and figure out the person that you want to be, and then don't try to be that person every day. Just show up as that person, and things will be much easier. Things will flow better. You won't stress as much. Just show up every single day as your best self. But that'll be all for today. And until next time, I will talk to you guys soon. Good luck.